Hello, glorious soul. Welcome to your soul service astrological update for the week of the 12th of December, 2022. Not much longer for 2022 to go. I hope you're well. This week's theme, the week that we're coming into, is surrendering of control. Last week's theme was surrendering to non-attachment and non-judgment. So the message I just received before I came on here was really the key theme for this incoming week is to surrender to control. Now, if this is the first time you've watched my celestial update, welcome. I'm Kel. The astrology that you find here on this channel will be different to the other astrology that you are hearing. There is a couple of reasons why. The first one, why, is I use 13 sign sidereal astrology. That is astrology that matches astronomy. So you can pull out your astronomy app and it will match exactly what you can see in the sky. I think that's really important that we are observing our sky, that we are observing our season, that we are observing the phases of the moon. We're not pretending that there's some other backdrop of the stars that isn't there anymore or is over 2,000 years old. We are looking to see what is around us right now. That does one thing. It brings us into presence. It brings us into awe. In particular, if we're looking at the sky, it has been demonstrated, and that allows us to be more compassionate, one, with ourselves, and two, with the planet. And that takes us back into a much more regenerative connection with ourselves and the planet as ourselves. So can you get my vibe here that what soul service astrology does? Now, soul service astrology also doesn't do predictions. What I do is I explain an energetic field, an energetic vibration, a frequency that you have an opportunity to explore. Now, that frequency, that energetic vibration might feel comfortable to you and you're willing to go in there. It might feel hideous and uncomfortable, but you're still willing to go in there. And I embrace you for either of those aspects. But just remember, all astrology you listen to is an opportunity to step into the energetic vibration that the person is describing. It is not a prediction of what will happen in your life. If you take that on, that's what will happen in your life. No fear here, just opportunities. So what I'll do first is I'll give you a little synopsis for the week. And then the second part of my video is I go into a little bit more detail for the people that want to see the detail with the birth chart, transit chart. All right, so this week is a little bit calmer than last week. Last week, we had a full moon. The full moon was conjunct with Mars. We had several of the planets changing sign, like the sun went into Fucus, Mercury and Venus went into Sagittarius. So there was a lot of releasing and shedding and shifting because we're moving out of that phase of the Scorpio and Ophiuchus phase, which can feel quite raw and real if you listen to your emotional intelligence. If you monitor your nervous system, if it's telling you something's off, that phase can be quite uncomfortable because you tend to sit with those emotions and you work your way through it. So that's why it can be uncomfortable and vulnerable. You're vulnerable when you're stepping into your nervous system and you're stepping into your emotional intelligence and you're attempting to rewire things to come out excited, full of ideas, and ready to celebrate that you have reprogrammed yourself towards the way that you wish to be in this world. And what I've just described is the journey through Scorpio, Ophiuchus into Sagittarius. So that was last week. So we're kind of coming out of that bubble this week. Now, when we're reintegrating from that Scorpio, Ophiuchus into Sagittarius energy, we kind of want to cling to things. We want to hang on to things. And that's really our ego looking to hang on to things and go, oh, no, this made you safe before. We've got to stay here. The opportunity this week is for you to surrender your control and allow and hand it over to the universe with ease and grace, and ask for help from the universe. So at the beginning of the week, we have some Neptune energy and it's square the sun. Now, the sun is still in off-Ucus, so you're probably still feeling a little bit raw and vulnerable. You might have brought something to fruition and you're putting that out into the world, so you're a little bit raw and vulnerable. How is this going to be received? And there is a square with Neptune. So instead of controlling how people might perceive your creativity, it's surrendering to the universe and saying, support me, hold me. This is part of my heart that I'm putting out into the world. Allow it to be received for what it is. Surrendering of control. Then as we move later into the week, we have Chiron square Mercury. Chiron also in Pisces, Mercury now in Sagittarius. So our mind is probably getting quite excited with ideas and goals and opportunities and potentiality, while Chiron is still processing the healing changes and integrating them into our energetic field and integrating them into our subconscious. And that's a very mystical process. Now, of course, the mind might want to run and not sort of allow that integration. So what I'm encouraging you to do this week is go a bit slower, allow that mental and environmental and emotional integration to occur before you start expanding into all the ideas. Because don't worry, Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius for a long time, for up 2.5 months, because we have a Mercury retrograde. So chill, surrender control. Your ideas will still be there. No one's going to take them. And you still get to be excited about those ideas, but allow whatever you need to integrate this week to integrate before you start running again. Or really partying hard, because that can also happen this time of year. And then at the end of the week, we get some lovely fiery energy with a trine between Uranus and Mercury. Uranus is in Aries and Mercury is in Sagittarius. Now, this is where you get to have a fun, exciting visioning party. So Mercury does get to still have a bit of an explore and a play. You get to look at your vision. Is your vision still the one that you want to be going towards? Why are we going towards that vision? Why are you in pursuit of that vision? What changes do you wish to be and see in this world? And what are the beliefs that are going to be required to get you there? Allow yourself to feel what you need to believe to get you to your vision. And I would suggest that, yes, you go big, but in the Southern Hemisphere on the 21st of December, we're going to be shifting into more the consolidation period. So you start to consolidate what the new goals and ideas might be. So you go big first, and then we filter it in. And that's fun. That's fiery energy. Let it burn, baby. All right. So that is the synopsis for this week. If you want to hang around, and I'm going to go into more detail for each of those aspects, and I'll talk about the archetypal qualities on either side, then stay. Otherwise, if that's it, thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. If you do want to work with me, kellygunter.com, and you can go and check out some more. Otherwise, hang about and I will share my screen. And it looks like it's going to work really quickly today, which is awesome. All right. So first up, on Monday, we have Neptune square the sun. So Neptune is mystical beacon energy. It's collective energy. It's a transpersonal energy. It moves very slowly. It's in Pisces. It's in its sign that it loves to be in. So I kind of feel like this is mystical energy in excess. You know, there is this real call, and the fact that we're in the age of Pisces, there is this real call for us to embrace our mystical intelligence, to embrace our subtle intelligences. So while analytical intelligence and logic and reason is still very much needed in our day-to-day. There is a really big call for us to embrace our emotional intelligence, our environmental intelligence, and our intuitive intelligence. And they're the more subtle intelligences. Now, when Neptune squares the sun, when we're feeling quite vulnerable because we're possibly emerging out of a bit of a cocoon, maybe we're a butterfly still with wet wings and we're not quite sure what to do with this complete rearrangement of our body, perhaps we've created something and it's coming to fruition and it's about to go out into the world, and you're sitting in vulnerability because you feel like the external may judge your creativity or may judge you. And of course, we all fear that judgment coming towards us. So the square energy there is that inner tension between surrendering to your higher self and allowing that higher self to carry the creative energy out into the world. And it's that surrendering of control. You have created this thing because you were called to create this thing. You have created this change in yourself because you were called to create this change in yourself. You've done it. Have a look at where you've been and where you are now. Now you can't control it. You have to surrender now to the feeling state that you want to be and see in the world, and allow your subtle intelligences to take over and carry it forth. And there's a number of opportunities here. You can pray, you can chant, you can dream, you can write your feelings into reality with carrying the changes that you've made in your life or your creativity in the world. But it's that surrendering of control and allowing the universe to hold you, trusting that those subtle intelligences can now hold you as we move forward. So that's Monday. That energy is going to hang about for most of the week, I think, Monday and Tuesday. And then Tuesday, Chiron square Mercury comes in. Now let's look at the two different archetypal qualities there. So square energy, if you're curious, is, I think, pure fear. And when I talk about fear, it's more of the not so beneficial fear. So it might be limiting beliefs, or it might be emotions that are holding you back. So, and it's between different energetic positions within ourselves. And the whole idea with astrology is that we're looking at different archetypal energies that reside within all of us, and we're working with them to come into our power. What is our power? Our power is deep, unconditional self-love and knowing that there is nothing outside of ourselves that can influence us. And everything that we generate comes from inside of ourselves out. And we have the power to heal ourselves. And that's a perfect segue to talk about Chiron, because Chiron traditionally was the wounded healer, was always the outsider, was the quirky one. And there is that aspect in all of us where we feel like that we're the outsider, we're quirky, we've got these wounds, how will anyone accept me? Now in Pisces, we're being called to heal, to be the mystic in the mundane, to alchemize what it is that we've healed and step up and know that we are love and that we have our subtle intelligences there with the gross intelligences, our mind and our body, our analytical intelligence, combined to fuse into this beautiful alchemy, and that we can start to step into self-compassion and self-love, and we can start to quell that mean mind. Now, again, here is the square to Mercury. It's about surrendering control of the mind. Now, the mind in Sagittarius loves it because it gets to explore, it gets to be curious, it gets to expand into wonderment. It goes, oh my God, there's so many opportunities and ideas that I want to follow. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's this integrating process that is happening after we have journeyed through Scorpio and Ophiuchus and at the back end of eclipse season. So look at the changes that you made in eclipse season, integrate them in a much slower fashion than what Mercury might be asking you to do. You can still definitely collect information, but try and be discerning with the information that you're collecting at this point so that you're not going to step into overwhelm. Allow yourself some time. And why am I saying that? Because Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius for 2.5 months. So you have plenty of time. So we're surrendering control, and you have plenty of time to explore all the things that you want to. Integrate your healing first. Surrender control. Let the universe support you. So those two aspects play out for the whole week. Okay, so when I'm encouraging you to step back into unconditional self-love. How do you do that? From an applied way. So this is all wonderful that you're listening to me, but I want you to apply it. So you're going to be journaling about how you're feeling. There might be other practices, your go-to practices. You might pray, you might meditate, you might connect with nature and get out in the bush, get into the ocean, swim in the ocean, connect with loved ones on the same level as you, and you can have wonderful conversations. So there's all these ways that you can integrate these changes that you want in your life. But there is action. You have to do something. So all these things I'm talking about, they're wonderful, but if you don't do something or take action around it, nothing will change. So as we move into the 16th, as you can see, we get this direct hit with Uranus trine Mercury. And what's interesting is the North Node is there too. So I'll bring that in as well, even though I didn't mention that at the beginning. Uranus is rebel energy. It's visionary energy. It's change. So what changes do you wish to be and see? Now, this is vision energy as well. So it's got to do with your why. What changes do you want to make and why? And it can't just be about you, right? Because this is mission and vision together. We've got North Node energy there. So this is more, okay, what vision do you wish to be and see? And how does that link in with the collective? Because there's collective energy here with Uranus. And what why is driving that? So you get to take a look at that. You get to sit and take a look at that. Uranus is still retrograde, so you still get to review your vision and make sure, is that really the pathway that I'm wanting to go down? Is that really where I want to funnel my energy? That's that Aries flavor there. Is that really where I want to funnel my energy? And then trine Mercury, you get to bring the ideas man in, ideas woman, ideas person. That was very, very binary of me. So we get to bring the ideas person in, and you get to explore and be creative and have some fun and put all your options down. So it's kind of like you get to put all your options down on the table and go, oh, where have I come from this year? So look back to April and May. Remember, we had the eclipse season back then, and it was in Aries, right? How am I different to now? How have I changed? Go back and look at that person, and maybe even November last year, November 2021, when we had a Taurus lunar eclipse. How have you changed? Where have you come from? And now where are you going? And just give yourself a little pat on the back and say, well done, if you've made some of the changes that you wanted to make. If you're sitting in a different emotional and nervous center state than what you were back then, give yourself a pat on the back. And now you get to have some fun and explore, have a party, celebrate what you've achieved, and then start to allow yourself to go, oh, that's where I want to see and be and go. And then you can allow Mercury to have some fun and start to see how that might work, right? That's the energy at the back end of the week. And that's really this week. So we've got those two squares and we've got that trine hanging around for that's 17th, 18th, and that's it. And then I'll talk about the other energies coming in on my next video and next week. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope you enjoyed that. If you would like to integrate astrology into your day, your week, your month, please purchase the Soul Service Astrology 2023 planner. It starts on the equinox. It will be a planner and a journal combined that will allow you to schedule your day, week, month. You'll never miss a new moon or a full moon because I've put it all in there for you. This planner is going to be beautifully covered in fabric and stamped in a copper foil stamp on the front. So the cover's going to be beautiful, and inside there'll be plenty of pages for you to write, dream, create, vision, and step into your seasonal and lunar self on a more regular basis. Look at the sky, write about how you feel, take action and make the changes that you wish to be and see in this world, so that we can all come back into our ecological self, in love, unconditionally with ourselves and taking care of our planet. So if you would like to purchase one of those planners, there is going to only be a limited print run this year. You need to get onto kellygunter.com and order one so that you know that you will absolutely get one. Get to it, and I'll see you next week. Bye.